All
now
right.
you bitch.
Nice try, Steven. You can't
got
take
me
my
again.
all rights. All right, and welcome to the Senpai Kohai podcast featuring... We don't have Matthew McConaughey, but we do have Trea and Steven.
That's me.
Steven, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a nice, relaxing evening, and we're going to be talking about some of my favorite stuff this evening, Mecha.
I feel like that really should be everyone's favorite thing. If giant robots don't hype you up, I don't understand what's really going to hype you up. I mean, if you didn't grow up with Gundam, Power Rangers, Zoids...
Yeah, I mean, if you're going older, the Robotech series.
Or Robotech. Then, I mean, really, what's going to hype you up?
Don't throw shade at Robotech.
I just don't know what the audience is for Robotech.
Really?
I really don't know, yeah.
How?
I know.
Okay, we're going to get into this later, but first and foremost, I'm going to quiz you on Mecha because I do know quite a bit of Mecha, and I'm going to keep it easy because you don't have quite the expansive knowledge I do. But
that's rude, but we are the Senpai Kohai podcast.
Indeed, I do have a good decade on you.
All right.
So, I'm going to start off easy, RX-78.
Oh, that's my main Gundam from the Mobile Suit Gundam series.
All right.
Amuro Ray, the pilot.
Oh, yeah. Your favorite character, right?
Jesus. There's no one I hate more than... Actually, there's got to be some anime protagonist I hate more, but I do dislike Amuro Ray quite a lot. I do.
Is there a particular reason? Because he's supposed to be like the hero character, isn't he?
Oh, he's a very shitty hero. He's very annoying. And I mean, I think that's just because he's a very reluctant hero and he just doesn't know what to do. And that's fair to him. You know, he's got to read a whole manual on how to guide a damn robot. But compared to Char, how can you not root for Char?
But Char's a veteran. Like, he's had time to do that. Like, they don't chronicle the moment when he was, like, first getting in a robot going, I don't know what the fuck to do.
They do.
They do?
They do. Mobile Suit Gundam. Oh, man.
Is it the origin?
Char's, origin.
Oh,
Char,
yeah. They were showing that on Adult Swim randomly, and I caught, like, part of an episode, and it seemed interesting, but it was definitely, like, I needed more context to the storyline, because there was character names flying around and stuff being talked about, and I was like, I'm out of my element, so.
Oh, yeah. It's so good. I love it. It's probably one of my favorite mecha moments is that miniseries. It's
really
so great, but I'm very biased towards Char.
Yeah, clearly.
But Char,
I've seen your avatars.
You should see my Dakimakura. It's Char Aznable.
At least it's not Diddy Kong.
No, that's the backside.
Oh,
it's Diddy Kong. If I'm feeling a little bananas, I'll switch it to Diddy.
No,
but
you can't see it, people, but I'm shaking my head so hard my brain is rattling.
All right, who's your next?
My next one?
Person?
Okay, let's see here. Veritech.
Ooh, I don't know Veritech.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You don't?
Is that Robotech?
It's Robotech, yes,
okay.
absolutely.
Good. Thank God.
Come on, how could you not love an F-14 Tomcat that transforms into a halfway mode between plane and actual mech and then actual mech?
You know what? I think SWAT Cats did that as well.
No,
now that I
SWAT
think
Cats
about it,
did not do that.
I feel like SWAT Cats turned into a cat and then turned into a plane. I could be wrong.
I think SWAT Cats was more of like a combiner kind of thing. You know,
I could see that.
it ejected like a separate mech that would like turn into a cat or something.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was a solid series back in the day. Now I want to like chase it down so I know if I'm right or not, because I've
heard it was really solid.
I think it was like 11 or 12 when that show came out, but it was remarkably solid. Kind of like the more mature like Sonic the Hedgehog show and some of those things that people like. I don't know if you ever saw like Sonic Underground or like there was 2 Adventures of Sonic and one had like the characters from like the Archie comics and things like that.
No, I didn't see that. That's cool.
Yeah, it was more mature kind of stuff. But you know, that's off topic. We're not talking about Mecha unless we're talking about Mecha Sonic. But
there's also the Eggmans and his different robots.
Man, Mecha
is
everywhere.
Sonic a mecha?
Sonic is a mecha series.
Oh
now,
God!
If you're thinking about it,
yeah, I guess. I don't like it, but it is.
All right, let's see here. Shining Gundam.
Oh, Shining Gundam. Oh goodness, that's not G Gundam. That's not Zeta Gundam. Oh no! Oh, you got me. Which Gundam is it?
It's G Gundam. You
It
were
is.
correct.
It is G Gundam.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I didn't hit you with one of the obscure ones like the Holland Windmill Gundam or anything like that, or the extremely
Whoa.
like stereotypical
That's
Mexican
Trea
Gundam.
Oh, I feel like I could have gotten the Mexican Gundam.
Have you seen that? It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think he's wearing like a sombrero and like a poncho.
That's pretty bad.
As like as a Gundam, but the Holland, I think it was Holland. They had like the windmill and everything on it. Oh, have you seen that show?
I don't think I've seen this Gundam show.
It's basically Gundam, the tournament arc. That's literally
You're talking about G Gundam still.
Yes,
these are all the different Gundams within G
Yeah,
Gundam.
absolutely.
Okay.
I have not changed subjects.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I
You're
thought
just
you were...
making up subjects all by yourself.
I have. Man. Amuro sucks.
Okay. I need to break away from some Gundams. Let's see here. Good. Jovians.
Jovians.
Yep.
Is this JoJo part 6?
No.
Okay, I don't know Jovians.
Martian successor to Nadesico. I could also say Ice of Alice.
No, we've talked about this one. I haven't seen it.
Okay, man. I just need to give you like half of my Mecha series so you can kind of catch up here.
That would be thrilling.
Because you love Mecha.
I do love Mecha. I hate Isekai, but damn it, do I love Mecha. Some about robots.
Yeah,
Some about
Transformers
robots
is like a big one for you, isn't it?
Transformers is almost foreplay. Almost foreplay. If you put Optimus Prime out, oh my god.
Yeah,
don't even get near
the Transformers like trading card game and everything too?
I don't want to talk about that. That was lost investments.
Mm.
Don't want to talk about that. But yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Okay. So, Blue Destiny.
I feel like I should know this.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Destiny.
This is obscure as fuck.
It is? Okay, I was like, that's not the name of the Gurren Lagann one. What is Blue Destiny?
It's Mobile Suit Gundam Blue Destiny. It's a manga series.
Is that only... Blue Destiny isn't an anime yet.
Not that I'm aware of. Like, it's not an anime.
Because Destiny is an anime, but Blue Destiny isn't.
Seed Destiny is an anime. Which Seed and Seed Destiny were basically like the original Mobile Suit Gundam, and I think Zeta Gundam kind of like turned into their own new thing. Like I think they were like called coordinators instead of new types. And
that's when the timeline split probably.
Yeah, it's an alternative timeline one. It's not UC. It's not Universal Century for those that don't know Gundam terminology like us nerds. But okay, that's enough of that. Like I have other mechs, but it was mostly Gundam. I'm literally coming up off the top of the dome, and everything that I come up with that isn't Gundam is extremely obscure or something you've never seen, which I already know, or it's just really obvious. Like I was gonna be like Death Scythe.
What is Death Scythe? Oh, you've already
Death
said
Scythe. You don't know Death Scythe?
Is that a? Oh my god! Wow! I just said, is that Gurren Lagann?
No.
No, I don't know.
Gurren Lagann literally has it in the name of the title.
Is it Lagann?
No.
Gurren?
No. Like, those are the names of the mechs. Like
it's Gurren and Lagann?
No.
It's Gurren Lagann?
You are hurting me right now. Death Scythe is a mecha within a series that you know. You started it and you got bored.
Oh, that could be anything. It doesn't take much. You only got to have like 3 consecutive episodes.
Okay, so I'm going to hit you with a
talking.
second hint because this is the one I thought you would get super easy. Death Scythe is from a Gundam show.
That I got bored of?
Yeah.
No way.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's Thunderbolt.
No.
It's
not Thunderbolt.
Not Thunderbolt. No, I haven't got to watch Thunderbolt. Oh my god. Iron-blooded Orc? No. I just don't like the aesthetic on that one.
It's older.
I didn't get bored of any Gundam series.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yeah, and I've watched
not even
every
one
Gundam.
With wings?
Gundam, damn it. Gundam Wing. Damn it. You got me. I remember now.
Yeah, because I remember you telling me you got like 20 episodes into it and you were like, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. It's so long. It's so boring.
Yeah, they took forever to really get to the meat of that one. And I stopped after they finally got to the pivotal point where they were marked as traitors. And I was like, this took way too long.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because it was like halfway through the show. I think it's 50 episodes for the whole show. And like at 25, they finally had the big event for the series. And I was like, man, I could be watching something else. But I need to go back and finish it as a Gundam guy. So I know what's going on. Death Scythe. Was that the nerdy guy that
Nope.
Who had that one?
That was Duo Maxwell.
What was his stereotypes?
His stereotype was super emo guy with the Chinese outfit and the long braid. He was very edgy.
He was the main character?
No.
Okay, I'll take your word. I'll believe you. As Senpai. I'll take your word.
We're just going to watch this together. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm just
I got the freaking Ultimate Collection out there. I might as well. Yeah.
With the endless waltz in it?
Well, with endless waltz in it and like the extra kind of like movies and like I think there's like kind of like all the promos and everything like included with it.
That's pretty cool.
It's a massive box. Like if I smack somebody over the head with it, they die.
That's impressive.
Yes, absolutely.
I like that. Real hard girl shit.
So yes, that's the end of me attempting to quiz you. It was a lot of fun to talk about. So we'll get into some of those mechs while we're talking about our main topic. But what I want to know, Trey, is what have you been watching lately that is not mecha?
I feel like I'm obligated to share with everyone.
No, you can't. You had to save it until the end. Go ahead.
That I'm watching Welcome to Demon School, Iruma-kun.
Yes! This is my moment!
And it's
This
been
is
great.
My Everest. It is great, isn't it?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's incredibly funny. It's Bobobo meets Harry Potter with how zany and insane shit that happens is in this demon school. It is so funny. And like the trio of characters that you just meet and get to know, it's so great and it's so funny. And it's I don't want to say Steven talked about it because he didn't. I felt like he only brought it up like once. But I feel glad to be the one to really bring it on the show and share it with everybody.
Oh, Jesus.
But I'm watching Welcome to Demon School. I'm already halfway through, or a little bit over halfway through season 1.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I may have it finished by the time we record next.
Yeah, we should be able to finish it together by the time we hit that point. And we're moving into the like some better story elements and things like that because you've just gotten to know the characters at this point and there's so much more to go and I'm ready to get you through it so we can discuss it on a welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun focused podcast episode.
Oh god.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% hour-long discussion of how amazing this series is.
What the
Are you watching anything else though?
No, I've been focusing on that just to make sure I don't. Oh, no, I don't know if I elaborated on last time, but I did finish the Saga of Tanya the Evil.
Oh, really?
Which was really great, really refreshing. I really like military anime. I feel like there's a lot of weight that they normally carry there, and they normally do it really well if the studio has the gumption to put it up, then they fulfill that promise. And Saga the Tanya of Evil did really well. My brother recommended that one to me because he's a big fan of the series. He has, I'm pretty sure, all the light novels that have come out so far, and he really recommended it to me. And I watched it. I think I've watched everything but the movie. I've got to dedicate some time to the movie because it's all in Japanese. I normally watch dubbed, but it's so good. It's really, I'm not gonna say fun, but it's entertaining to watch.
Yeah,
as everything goes through the show. Absolutely,
and I need to check that out because I do like military themed stuff too. And if it's an isekai that doesn't really boil down to harem or waifu stuff that's kind of unique, I definitely want to jump on it.
That's exactly what it is. It's rooted. It's no real waifus or anything, and that's not disappointing or anything. And that's rare for me to say that. But it's pretty
waifus
great.
Are fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. But there are none in the show. And they stay pretty focused on the task at hand for Tanya, and it's pretty great. And actually, it being an isekai series, me being tricked into watching that, I enjoyed it for the isekai that it was, and it keeps that element of what is the purpose of them being there and how do we fulfill that.
Does it feel like it forgets that it's an isekai at a certain point?
They remind you of it. I want to say about once an episode, or at least every other episode, because there's a haunting character that stays with Tanya as you progress. But that's really kind of the way they keep you in for the isekai.
Okay.
But it's not as, I guess, bad as something like Konosuba, the last isekai that can come to mind for me, where it's like Aqua there, like, oh my god, you brought me into this world, I can't believe this. It's more Tanya, like, I have to find this person, because I'm in this world.
It's like a John Wick situation.
Yeah.
You know,
like they're head hunting.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just curious because, like, you know, remember I talked about a couple isekai where it's like that, like the Saints magic power is overwhelming, or I forget exactly what the name of it is. It's one of those ones with the long title where basically the first episode establishes it as an isekai, and then from then on everybody just forgets that it's a thing.
You know what's crazy? The last one I saw that did that was I'm the Eighth Son. Are you kidding me? And from there I quit isekai for like a year.
I thought the anime was okay, but I've continued to read the manga, and
did it get
it
better?
Doesn't get better. It doesn't get better. It gets boiled down. So it gets really boiled down in kind of like nobility and class structure and like how they interact with each other.
But then why make it an isekai?
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't make any sense. It stops. It stops being an
medieval
isekai
anime
at a certain point, and they literally are playing these games of like, who assumes responsibility for this in this situation as this person in the nobility structure and things like that. And that might be interesting to people, but there's series that do it better.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, I don't know if it's a bad English translation because I'm reading it off of a translation that is not official. But there's a series, God, I'm trying to, it's basically, it translates to something like the Ultimate Slacker's Life or something like that, where this guy gets isekai off to another world because this woman shows up with, the ability to travel between worlds and basically asks him to come, live as the king of this world. And you actually get introduced into the politics of that world. And the series spends a lot of time establishing the characters and making you like them, and explains the nobility and the structure of like how dynamics work at the right pace and the right details. And it's really, really interesting. And it involves like generals and armies and how they advance into subduing monsters and how certain families interact with each other. And it's actually really, really interesting. And the main character is likable. I think that's my biggest thing, is the main character is capable. He's an adult. He's likable. He's kind of goofy on occasion, so he's got like some failings, and I just feel like in like I'm the Eighth Son, it just like he just can't fail.
Yeah,
every girl likes him. He's made a bunch of money. He can beat everything that exists, and there's no real risks to any of it.
Yeah, just those power fantasies.
Yeah, and I don't like it. But this other one, like I'll have to dig up the actual official title and I'll bring it up on another one. Maybe I'll share it on the Twitter.
Okay.
But it's a great series. I think it's up to volume 9. It's released by 7 Seas here in the US.
Damn.
I do have the like book versions of them because I love it so much. Like that was I was so happy when they licensed it. Anyway, we kind of got off on like a little side road there.
What were we talking about?
I don't remember. We were talking about what we were watching, right?
Yeah. What are you watching? I was watching that.
Man, I'm watching Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun with you because that's exactly what I love to do. I've now watched the series 4 times.
Oh my God.
Yeah. This will be my 4th time through the series.
It's too much.
I've reread the manga 3 times up to current chapter.
Oh my God.
Look, I believe this is ultimately one of the best series that has been published in like a decade.
I can see it because it's funny. It's so funny and it's so good.
Yeah. Well, you acknowledge that there's still like a shonen element to it.
I never said that. Never said that. But there is a shonen element to it.
Absolutely.
But it's especially the way it's framed in the anime. It is so shonen, with the opening and the ending where it's like, next time on Welcome to Demon School of Iruma-kun.
And I love how grounded in the 90s it is.
It is. It's really, everyone looks like a Sailor Moon villain. And it's so great. It's so great. I can't get over it. It's I'm not going to say it's the best thing I've watched this year yet. We're going to wait till I get to the end.
You're getting this guy excited over here, but...
Oh, please. Behave. So
I've watched also a few more episodes of Pirate Princess Fina, which I continue to be impressed by. Between animation and actually a solid progression arc in terms of like the storyline, it's going pretty well. Now, mind you, I'm only up to about episode 6 out of however many it's going to be, but I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far, and it's a solid release by Crunchyroll and Adult Swim. I felt like some of the Crunchyroll originals were sort of like, some were like here up at the top and some were really not. And I think it really just depended on the source material and like how much they wanted to really translate to it. I feel like Webtoons didn't really do such a great job of translating to anime.
I feel like Webtoons had a season, and that was really kind of it. They had that Tower of God and another one, but I kind of would like to see more get translated if that's capable. I feel like that's nice to see artist dreams realized.
Yeah, it's just you gotta understand, like Webtoons have a different like progression. They have a different like flow to them from traditional manga, and I think that's still in its infancy. I think it's something that, in terms of like animation and directing animation, people are still kind of nailing down. So
yeah,
but Fina and Iruma are kind of the main ones I'm watching. I'm still working my way through the rest of Martian Successor Nadesico, which I brought up a while back.
Yeah,
that would be why I'm bringing up the Aestivalis and the Jovians and things like that.
Fina, I talked to my wife about Fina Pirate Princess. That's what it's called, right? Fina Pirate Princess.
Absolutely.
Is very reminiscent of Tangled, the Disney movie.
Really?
It is, at least the way the princess presents herself and acts. I was describing it to my wife because normally I just talk to her about stuff I'm watching. And I was like, hey, I think you would actually like this one because she does like pirates. But Tangled is also my wife's favorite movie. And
look,
I was like,
I understand. I love Tangled.
It's great. It's a good movie. Yeah. What's the guy's name that plays Flint?
Zachary Levi.
That's him. Yeah, he's great.
He's fantastic.
He carries the movie.
He really
you think
does.
Mandy Moore does, but hey, what does Mandy
Moore
do
sings.
compared to?
That's what she does.
Barely.
I mean, but Zachary Levi definitely carries it with the humor and like the charm. And he kind of like, I don't know if you ever watched his TV show Chuck.
No, I've been meaning to because I've heard he's
fantastic show. Like really elevated himself to like a leading actor position there. And it definitely is. It's kind of a time capsule, if you will, because he plays a character that works at like a Geek Squad type thing.
Wow.
And like that's not like that was very much culturally relevant at one point, and it's not so much anymore, just because of the way technology and like service and things have evolved. But it's a really cool concept. They have some really cool story beats, and it's well acted. I can't recommend it enough. I actually have it the entire series on Blu-ray. It's one of the few TV series I own on Blu-ray. But he also was great as Shazam.
Shazam was really good.
Did you enjoy that a lot?
I really enjoyed it.
So
we both really enjoyed Shazam. It was probably the best DC movie to come out in years.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's good. Anything Zachary Levi, I think, hey, Zach, we appreciate you.
Indeed.
If you want to listen. So, apart from that, I think we both covered what we're watching. Steven, what are you playing? I know you've been hitting this Atelier Ryza pretty hard. Riza, if you're from the Wu-Tang pronunciation. If not, it's Ryza. But what have you just been playing this?
Oh, Wu-Tang, the anime game. Yeah, I've primarily been playing that. But I also picked up a new game on the Switch called Eastward, which was, I think it was part of the indie showcase.
Yeah, this most recent one.
Yeah, it's kind of got that kind of interesting pixel kind of look of like Stardew Valley. It's published by Chucklefish, the same publisher that released Stardew Valley.
Oh, so same developers and team and everything?
It's not Concerned Ape. Concerned Ape was the one-man team that made Stardew Valley. But,
okay.
But they're working with a company in, I believe it's China, called Pixpill. And it plays kind of like a Zelda-like. And it's it's like a post-apocalyptic world almost. And you play this guy named John. And he's discovered this person while he's a scavenger under the world. This isn't spoilers. It's literally in the video for the indie showcase. And you basically start the game going to rescue people from, these like slugs that are invading the mine that you work at. And you start out by like going out and hunting, and you use a frying pan to start the game.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds bizarre, but you fight them and you help clear things, and you start to learn different elements of the game. And so it's kind of got that Link Zelda sort of thing. There's a lot of puzzles. So it's like you have to figure out how to get electric cords connected to open doors and then disconnect them and connect them to another place to open another door. You get bombs that allow you to, progress in a different way through puzzles. And then you go back to town after doing like kind of your little intro. and you find out there's this video game that all the kids play in town, and the person you found in the rooms was this little girl that was in like some capsule, and she's basically become your sort of adopted daughter. And she is trying to get, like, she knows all the kids in town, and they play this game called Earthborn.
Wow. Okay.
No, there is references out the yin yang for this game. So when you boot it up, it looks like it's a Famicom cartridge in the top left corner, and it looks like a character that looks like Dai from the Adventures of Dai for Dragon Quest.
Okay.
And when you play the game, your characters all are, it's a turn-based RPG, and you're fighting the Demon King, and you do an actual turn-based RPG. Like, it lets you select different stuff, skills,
just
restore
like
your AP.
the Dragon King from Dragon Quest 1.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, is all these kids play together with like memory cards. And so they have fun with that. And then you move on and you start to go through an adventure. And then she joins you. And you each have different abilities that allow you to continue to complete puzzles. So you're playing this game. We're exploring this relationship with these two people. Exploring this world. It's like got all these like kind of like underground. Everybody lives underground. There's mushrooms. It's very vibrant. And almost reminds me sort of like Ready Player One to a certain degree. The movie. Yeah. You know, that whole kind of like weird amalgamation of like technology that's dead now, and they use it to turn it into houses and stuff like that. But it's very, very cool. But there's a crafting system in cooking.
I'm already out.
It reminiscent of Breath of the Wild.
Oh, I hated that.
You really?
Oh, for sure.
Really?
I hated that.
Well, it's not required, so don't fret too much.
Okay.
But it's really cool, kind of like almost Zelda-esque, mixed with a little bit of RPG, having these extra like features. It's really charming. The characters and the writing are really, really fun, and I can't recommend it enough. Like, I think it's like $24.99 or $19.99. I can't remember which one it is, but it's worth every penny. Like, even at full cost. Like, it's a great game. I've just scratched the surface.
I didn't realize it was already out, so that's exciting.
Just came out last Friday. And it's the other game that is really absorbing a lot of time. Like, I can talk for the next hour, literally, about Atelier Ryza. And our friend Daryl will probably jump into Discord and give me shit for mentioning this game, because he has yet to play it for longer than an hour, and all he does is talk shit about how much he doesn't like it. And I hope he hears this and decides to play the game and not just give me more shit. I'm talking to you, Daryl. Anyways, what are you playing?
So I, as most people would know, I have been playing Final Fantasy VII. I was grinding up to finish Emerald and Ruby Weapon. I've got most of my characters up to high 70, high 80. And then I finally decided to go and fight Emerald Weapon. But then when I looked up what I needed to do, it was go grab a materia and use it to find a separate monster and get some item from it to go fight the Emerald Weapon. And I was like, no, you know what? That's enough. I think I'm strong enough, and I don't need to prove anything to any weapon. Mm-hmm. And I already know what the end of material is that I get from that. I already have all the summons, and I don't need anything. So I'm good. I don't have anything to prove. So I went ahead and beat the game. I went ahead and finished Final Fantasy VII. And it was amazing. Really? I loved it. I hate that I pushed it off for so long because of its ugly ass aesthetic. Because it was still ugly while I played it, but it was well worth it. God damn.
I wish like now you could talk to old Trea on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Because you were I love how you switch gears so quick.
Oh, it doesn't take much.
It's just like forcing you to do it. Like, here, enjoy this.
The thing is, you have to make me think it's my own idea. So like, oh, a year of Final Fantasy. Well, I guess I better go ahead and knock out Final Fantasy VII. And that's a good way to trick me into doing it. So we're already playing Final Fantasy VI.
Yes.
As you've wanted me to play.
Yes.
So that would have been a good way to trick me into doing it then. But we'll see how that goes.
I do love the whole fact that you have to be tricked into enjoying things. Like your brother tricked you into watching Tanya the Evil.
Yeah.
Tanya the Saga.
The Saga of Tanya the Evil.
Thank you.
He said the Japanese name one day, and it was a very simple word, but I just don't remember it right now.
Oh yeah, it escapes me at the moment. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, so I really enjoyed Final Fantasy VII, and then I'm still working on cleaning games off my Switch so I can make space for these other games that are coming. I really want to make sure I'm cleaning games as I'm getting games to put on. I don't want to backlog. I'm trying to manage. So right now I'm working on Helter Skelter. Whoa, that's not
no,
the right
that's
one.
not the same thing.
Jesus.
Mary Skelter.
That's some Charles Manson stuff. Mary Skelter, yes. Mary Skelter Nightmares is the one I'm working on. And I've started Mary Skelter 2 without realizing that what I bought came with the first one. And I got maybe an hour or two into Mary Skelter 2 and quit because it was overwhelming. The world, the mechanics, there was just too much going on. And I couldn't absorb it all at once. And granted, I almost got to that point here in the first couple hours of Mary Skelter 2, or of Mary Skelter Nightmares, the first one, because I've spent maybe the first 3 hours reading tutorials as they've sent it to me.
Yeah.
And I've barely gotten to play.
Yeah, but it's a lot like that with those types of games.
Yeah, just understanding the dungeon mechanics, because it's a dungeon crawling game.
Is it the first person one where you like turn and things like that? Yeah.
Yep, you turn at the face. And
was it the Labyrinth of Refrain?
That's one like that too.
Yeah,
Labyrinth of Refrain.
It's a great game, but it does have a lengthy introductory.
Moero Chronicles H is the same.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you download that?
No, I should have got that one instead. I should have. I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But I like alternative fairy tale stories. So we're going to see how this one goes. This one plays off Alice, Jack and Jill, or like Alice in Wonderland, Jack and Jill, and Little Red Riding Hood.
Sort of like fairy tales, sort of.
Yeah, like Aesop Fables, but with a twist.
Yeah,
like a bad Japanese twist.
I don't think it's Aesop Fables, but
you could be right.
I mean, Aesop Fables is like the grasshopper and the ant, I think, is the one, and then
that's Bug's Life. Go ahead.
Anyways,
what's the next one?
So we've been playing some games. We've been watching some anime. What we're going to talk about now is mecha, because that is what we really came here to do. So since I have a much more lengthy history with mecha, and so I have many more to say, I want to hold off a little bit, and I want to let you tell me about your introduction to mecha and what you love about mecha.
So for me, mecha started back when I was a wee lad. And me and my brother would watch Transformers, and we watched Zoids. I want to say we watched a little bit of Gundam, but we couldn't appreciate Gundam.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of in my beginning stages. And then finally, when I was in college, kind of doing my own thing, I got Mobile Suit Gundam 8th MS Team.
Ooh,
and I just got it on a whim.
What a winner.
And that was my first anime to help get me back into anime, and I watched it and I was blown away. I really appreciated it for what it was, and I was like, wow, this is what anime can be. It's not just anime boobs and crazy stuff happening. This is story, this is art, this is
character development.
Absolutely. Because you see a man in love turn against what he fights for his love, and it's insane. It's a crazy Romeo and Juliet story with mecha, and
I never thought of it that way. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, it's very well dressed, and I love that series in Gundam so much. And from there, it pushed me to watch Mobile Suit Gundam the first, and then that's where I fell in love with Char, and I was like, wow, what a driven character to fight for his ideals in such a crazy way. And like, he does what he can, and I'm glad they put the Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin. That's what it's called, the Char Aznavour series, because you kind of see why he does what he does to get revenge. That way, he's not just some crazy freak doing what he's doing for the sake of killing people.
Yeah, he's not just this nondescript bad guy.
Yeah, there's way more to him. And he's getting revenge for his family and everything, and his sister. And it's so great. There's so much elaborated upon. And I love it. And just fighting through robots is easily the best way to see fights. You don't have to go through shonen fights, I guess. And I mean, shonen fights are great. There's nothing that tops Naruto getting a new tail, or Goku hitting a new stage and combining it with something, or skateboarding with a Kamehameha. But you'll catch that when you see it. I see you giving me a confused look. You'll catch it when you get there. But fighting with mechas is so intense because it's real. It's rooted. It's soldiers in robot armor, and it's so great.
I think there's a wide variety of mecha. I think there are some that are grounded a little bit more in reality, and there are some that get really bizarre. Like we talked about G Gundam a little bit earlier in our banter, and that's the one where it gets a little bizarre. I actually feel that Gundam Seed gets that way too. That like some of the level of how powerful those Gundams get hits some Dragon Ball Z kind of like, you know, supernatural stuff. I felt the same way about G Gundam. You know, there's a lot of like, you know, force of will kind of power. Like I feel like Gurren Lagann's that way.
Yeah.
Is you know, it's like it's just your sheer will is what powers this mecha to be stronger. Like there's no real, I guess, science or anything to it. There's no grounding in reality. And I have no problem with that because I enjoy that mecha type as well. But where I started was Robotech, which, if you don't know, Robotech is an amalgamation of 3 different anime series, which is Super Dimensional Fortress Macross. There's Southern Cross is the other one. I forget what the little like prelude words are, and Mospedia. And what they do is they take all those series and the footage from it and like reassign character names and make it this overarching storyline. It's actually pretty creative, if you ask me. But I still enjoy the original series better. Like, so in Robotech, the mecha is the Veritech, and in the original Macross series is the Valkyrie. And I love airplanes. Grew up in the military, grew up in the Air Force, was in the Air Force, and I adore airplanes and their design and how they work. And so it was really cool to see something that was this kind of combination of actual fighter jet into this kind of like fun, romantic humanoid battle suit. And I really liked that. And while I don't remember exactly, I wish I could get my hands on the original Macross series to see if they talk about it. But in the Robotech series, especially the novels written by Jack McKinney, published by Del Rey back in the day, they explained that the Veritech helmets actually have sensors in them that allow brainwaves to help them facilitate movement. They also have controls in the cockpit that allow them to pilot it like an airplane and like a person, but that same thing in their helmet helps them actually move the arms and the legs and, you know, do very human movements, even though it's a robot. And that had me. Like, I loved the Tomcat. I loved the F-14 Tomcat. And it was a great machine, a great jet. And to have it turn into... And the best part is that it had a transformation in between. It wasn't just Transformers. It wasn't just jet to robot. It was jet robot with the legs out and the arms, but the top half was like the front part of the Tomcat. It was a much more maneuverable version of it. And then it turned into the Battleoid or Battleroid version, whichever one you want to go with. And then you had the full-on humanoid kind of thing where you could actually operate as like kind of slower, much more human movements. Like kind of like an operative, I guess.
Okay.
And it was just so mind-blowing to me back then that I loved it to death, and I just couldn't get enough of it. But I moved on from there at some point to a series that I actually still equate with the probably most realistic mech. As close as like later in the series, it gets a little more fantastical. But I've talked about Full Metal Panic before, haven't I?
Yes, you have.
Yes, they have a type of mecha in that one called the Arm Slave. And they actually do a good job of showing what it's like to actually sit in the cockpit and reach their arms through certain sensors that hit like the elbow, and then they grab a handle around like their fist and like it goes around their wrist. And they literally move this mech from inside. And they talk about how certain models are more mobile or move slower, have heavier armor and things like of that nature. And it's not until you get later in the series, the whole like using your brain to kind of like force higher level abilities comes into play. But a lot of the rest of the world knows armed slaves as these mecha that normal armies use. And they are controlled by people, and they have melee weapons. They have guns, and there's ammo, and like there's entire parts of the series where people run out of ammo and they have to use basically a robot knife and things like that. It's a lot of fun. And I think that's real. I think the heft behind those types of mecha really appeal to me. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Gundam, I like the fantastical, but the ones that really get me are the ones that you can feel. Like, even in animation, you feel those things. They're heavy, and the way they move and they hit. They don't just bounce back. It's not like watching robot versions of people fighting. It's watching people piloting a robot fighting each other, and that's what's different for me.
I think I'm the opposite. I think
Really?
I'm a little bit more on the robot fantastical side. So my Gundam is, God, do I love Gundam. I definitely need to catch up on more series, but I love it. And Gundam Unicorn is heavy on the fantastical side. So for those that are uninitiated into Gundam, there's a type called new type. And really what that is people that are a little bit more, I guess, meant to combat in space and drive their Gundams in space. They have the ability and the adaptability. What's the word there? Adaptability. Close. One letter off. To pilot their mechs in space, and they're that much better. That's why Char was better than Amuro until Amuro was a better new type than Char. Mm-hmm. And so on in the series. You see new types begin to progress as humans evolve through the Gundam series, in the lore, at least through the Universal Century.
Yeah, because they're like new versions of humans or something like that.
They evolve. Mm-hmm. And in Gundam Unicorn, new types really hit a peak where they start to develop rights, if that makes sense. And they actually become a political entity. And it's super interesting because it becomes almost a military drama. And that makes it really thrilling. Or at least I find it really thrilling.
I mean, they're all military dramas to a degree, but it's an interesting approach to the military drama. It's not one organization versus another organization. It's not colonies versus the Earth. Yeah. It's something else.
Yeah. It's how do we approach this newfound issue that we've known is coming, but now we have to address it. We're here. What's next? And it's so great. It's very interesting, and the fantastical side of it is neat as you see these new types handle their mechs. Because it's not just, okay, all right, we're mechs in space, shoot your guns, and that's it. Because you see the new type. I'm firing
my laser.
I'm shooting my lasers. And they handle it a little bit more interesting. You see the new type Gundam, I guess, flare. That's where you see the unicorn open up, and it has two horns instead of one, and it becomes pink instead of white. That's its new type form. Or I guess I'm trying to think of another new type explanation, but I can't think of one. But another explanation of the fantastical is something like Darling in the Franxx, which I know Steven hasn't watched yet. We will get to, but we won't elaborate because of how great it is. And how big
it's a Trigger series. So Trigger is my favorite animation studio. So I really don't want you to ruin it for me. We'll just watch it after Iruma-kun.
Oh yeah.
I won't even make you watch season 2 of Iruma-kun before we do it. We'll move into Darling in the Franxx.
How kind of you.
You're stuck with me for an extended period of time, so we got oodles of time to work on anime.
And so it's one with messages. It's one with work, and it's great. It's got a lot to do, and it's just being able to appreciate the fantastical and what it means whenever you can appreciate what it's doing at the same time.
Yeah. I think character development kind of falls into part of those storylines.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because like, for instance, Gurren Lagann. Like, I adore Gurren Lagann. It is a giant homage to all the mecha series that have existed through time. You can literally see it from the start of the series to the end. The combining mecha, the sheer force of will that brings you to victory. I mean, it has a lot of fun in that nature, and I think it's cool that it actually adapts a kind of like lore to go with it, with the spiral knights and everything of that nature. I'm not going to go into in depth because if you haven't watched Gurren Lagann yet, you just need to go watch it, and I really don't want to spoil anything because it's such a fun watch. It's got emotional moments, but it glorifies every era of mecha that there has ever been.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's fun. I want to say that's one that's been on Netflix for a long time too, especially for reference. If you want to watch Gurren Lagann, it's classic.
Yeah, and that's what's wild is I'm old enough to remember that it's a classic now. I remember when it was first premiering, I was watching it on fan subs.
God.
I had to chase down copies of episodes in AVI format on IRC, Internet Relay Chat.
For Gurren Lagann?
Yeah.
It's older than I realized.
Yeah.
Because I watched it on Netflix.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like, I watched it as it was being fan subbed, as it was released in Japan. Before the days of working together and simulcast and things of that nature. So
wow.
Yeah. There was an era for that. That was that like 2000 to like 2010, 2011 area.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really had kind of gone away by 2012. A lot of Netflix and other like Hulu showed a lot of stuff. That they'd really embraced the streaming
as
situation.
anime got more.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I don't have any beef with streaming because anime is way more mainstream now, and I welcome that. I want more mecha in my life, and I have had more mecha in my life because of streaming and the more availability. I mean, come on, there's a company out there called Discotech that's licensing ancient anime. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a domestic release of Combattler V, which is literally a combining robot series from, like, if not the 70s, like maybe the early 80s. And that was a whole, I think it was like a truck and a rocket ship and something else, and they combine into, like not even like a truck, like it's like an 18-wheeler that would, like, add into this. It's so good. It's got this like kind of iconic song as a theme. It's there's some jokes in it. One of my favorite series, Genshiken, actually has a scene where one of the characters sings the opening theme to Combattler V. So that's where I started out learning about that. Mecha shows that are fantastical that I enjoy were Gurren Lagann, like I said. I liked Razef, and I've talked about that on the show before.
Yeah.
That one is very fantastical. That one's more built around like alien life forms and mecha being life forms for that matter. What else do I like that's a kind of a fantastical? I love G Gundam. I bought the Ultimate Edition from Right Stuff on that one. I could not resist. Also, fun fact about G Gundam is there's two things that I'm going to bring up that are just completely random. But one of them has to do with G Gundam, and that is the fact that there was an episode of Pokemon that paid homage to.
I remember.
Did I talk about this already?
You have. It was when they were in Big Mecha Pokemon, and they.
Yeah,
go ahead. Please.
No, I'm done.
I remember.
Brock and the girl of that episode were doing the whole like.
Because he normally has a girl of the episode. It's Brock. You know what to expect.
So
from Brock.
I had to ask real quick because you're a Pokemon fanatic. Is Brock an adult or is he like a kid like the rest of them?
So I am a fanatic, but I don't know about the show that much. I did watch the show, but if you were to ask me the ages of like Brock, Misty, Tracy, I don't know.
Yeah, I just remember. I think I was listening to our friends over at Talk Shonen talk about Pokemon, and I think they referred to his Brock as an adult, and I was like, wait, is he an adult? Like I never thought about it that way.
I would believe it if he is, since he's so focused on relationships, on the ladies.
Absolutely,
I would believe it. That man's got a goal, and it's not being a gym leader.
Man, did you ever watch G-Force? Do you know what G-Force is?
That's that Disney movie with the hamsters.
Oh,
is that what you're talking about?
Part of me just died on the inside.
Oh no,
this is why you're the senpai. Sorry, no, this is why you're the kohai. I don't know how to talk. Jesus, this is why you're the kohai. G-Force was the American version of Gatchaman.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've always seen Gatchaman, so I haven't seen this.
Like you saw the original Gatchaman though, like the old.
I haven't seen it. I've seen
really?
the promotion for Gatchaman, but I have not seen this promotion known as G-Force. So it's weird they wouldn't call it Gatchaman.
So back in the day, we're talking like the era of Speed Racer, with the poorly dubbed kind of English,
poorly everything.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. And G-Force was Gatchaman from the lens of America, but they typically had like kind of mecha-esque kind of things going on. They had a special jet and things like that, and they dealt with, you know, the big bad. I thought it was like that same thing of like the character drama mixed with the you know, sort of technology, because that was the whole thing. Is like they were like was it Science Ninja Team? Gotcha Man. They were a solid one that got me in moving in the same in the direction of mecha. So I also watched Star Blazers reruns, which were the American version of Space Battleship Yamato that they adapted over here. I've watched that through VHS tape. So, you know, like, and that was the same thing. It's like this space mecha battleship. That they would, but they had starfighters in it and things like that. So I feel like those are kind of like adjacent sort of things. Is there a modern mecha, like recent mecha that you're into?
No, it's been a while since one's caught my eye. So there was, what was it? Mobile Suit Gundam, Iron-Blooded Orphans that came out. But honestly, the aesthetic of that one really threw me off. The way the characters are drawn, the way the Gundam itself is. It's not very reminiscent of Gundam for me. I almost feel, I guess, pretentious in saying it, but like it almost looks too anime.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like where Gundam almost has a more realistic feel to it. Yeah, I mean, I know where it's, you know, this is anime. This is robots in space fighting for the sake of military political drama. Mm-hmm. Iron-Blooded Orphans doesn't have that look to it. And I mean, I know it may be great.
Is it supposed to be in the UC timeline?
I'll have to check with friend of the show, Will. I'm not sure if he knows.
Did you give up on it too soon?
I think I did. I tried 2 episodes and I just couldn't get past the big ass goofy eyes on the main character, and then they showed the main Gundam with his mole ass fingers and his big ass Triton, and I was like, what is this?
So you just didn't like the mecha design.
I am a fan of mecha design, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm just a fan of certain ones, but I just couldn't get behind Iron-Blooded Orphans, and they just announced Witch of Mercury. Mm-hmm. And
the first Gundam TV series in like a decade?
10 years.
Like something crazy like that. It's been a long time. Like, yeah. Iron-Blooded Orphans was the last TV series.
The first new TV series, because they did Mobile Suit Origins for Char, but that's been rooted in Mobile Suit Gundam in the past 30, 40 years. So this will be the first original thing in a long time. I'm excited to see if this is once we start seeing some key visuals from it, but I'm reserved. I'm nervous to see an entirely too anime aesthetic, if that makes sense. I don't want it to be overtly anime. I would like it to be a little bit more in the original Sunrise Gundam. You know what you're getting here.
Yeah.
I guess. Aesthetic.
Welcome to being an anime fan for a longer period of time where you have to accept the changes that have happened.
Man, it sucks. It sucks.
Like, what would you do if Monster Musume came out with a sequel and it had a different look to it?
Monster Musume is here for one thing, and one thing is only going to look the same. Look, there's no way that's going to look
I'm not
going
to lie. Monster Musume got a steelbook release over a million other series, so... yeah, like, you didn't know that? You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that.
Christmas present activated.
Man.
But as you can see, there's a lot to talk about in the form of mecha. We've talked about a lot of Gundam, but there's a lot more than that out there.
Yeah,
I mean, you mentioned Zoids in there. Good Lord. There was Gadgard. Have you ever heard of that series?
Gadgard. No.
Yeah, like there's all kinds of crazy series out there. Big O?
No.
Have you ever watched Big O?
It was
Batman the animated series meets Japanese kaiju level like mecha, like Gigantor, where the person stands on the edge of the robot, and like You haven't seen Big O?
No,
Look, I want
that
you to
sounds
know,
amazing.
I want you to know that this is essentially a series that premiered in Japan and absolutely failed, but nailed it in America. So just
It
take
sounds
that
like
for
it
what
would.
it will. No, absolutely. It's a fantastic show. I think it's great. And I'll have to show it to you sometime soon. But I think that kind of hits us for now. Like, I think we're on the tail end of our mecha journey, at least for this episode.
Yes, sir. No, I think there's only so much mecha in the world. There needs to be more,
Absolutely.
honestly. And really for games,
Ooh.
there's only so many mecha games, and really just for something to keep an eye on out for the next couple months. I even want to say in the next maybe month or so, there's Super Robot Wars coming out.
Yeah.
I want to say that's what it's called, and it's a celebration of mecha games.
It's a crossover title with mecha from every series you've ever
a
loved.
Damn crossover, and it looks so good. I need to look up who the announced characters are going to be, but every week or every other week I check on the page just to see who else is going to be in it. It looks so good. I'm so excited.
We didn't touch on Gigantor, Getter Robo,
or Voltron.
Man.
I mean, we didn't even really talk about Power Rangers.
Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, which is the Japanese version of Power Rangers.
Yeah,
absolutely. There's so much more mecha in the world that we can explore. Maybe we will come back to it, but I think that really kind of wraps us up for the day, Trey. I think we've really hit the fine points of what we love about mecha already. And maybe we can be more detailed next time. We'll see.
I'm going to need more details about that Monster Musume Steelbook, but I think you're right. I think we have definitely hit our end case. Steven, did you have anything else you wanted to wrap us up with?
Absolutely not. I am looking forward to hearing from people what they think about this episode. You can hit us up on Twitter at Senko Podcast. And then you can hit us up at I think we're on our anime for like our podcast as well. Like, do we post on our anime?
Oh, yeah, for getting questions, yeah.
Absolutely.
I was misunderstanding our anime as in our anime. But yes, Reddit at our anime. Yeah, I normally post questions on there and try to gather questions. So if you have a question, check out my post on there from Trey Blade. I'll normally gather questions for the next episode. That's going to be a bi-monthly thing where we try to gather episodes or gather questions for the episodes.
Talk like a person, Trey.
Man, gathered episodes. And but that's really going to be it, Steven.
All right.
Man, I appreciate you being here, man.
I love being here, and I love talking mecha. We'll see you next week, all right?
All right, man. See you later.
Peace. Okay, that's stupid.